Mesechta Menochos daf Dalet Amud Aleph. We're starting from Gimel Amud Beis, 8 lines at the bottom, where it says Kulo Kerabba Lo Yamri. I'm going to start here. Kulo Kerabba Lo Yamri, meaning Rava and Ravashi do not follow the teretz of Rava. They argue because Rava explained that if the actions, when he says I'm bringing a mincha l'shum marcheshes while he brought in a machvas, so his actions that he has done overrides what his thoughts are. His actions are louder, and therefore the original way that he brought it in a machvas, he's going to be yetzer for the mincha machvas. So Rava says Gemara, nobody holds like Rava because faket, they feel that if the actions show the opposite of his thought, and he had a thought one way and he has actions another way, it parcels the carbon. They don't feel it should make it good. Faket, it should make it parcel. Let's say it inside. Rava and Ravashi do not follow Rabba's way of thought, that he was mechalik between Machshavas Shini Kodesh and Machshavas Shini Bailam. But in Machshavas Shini Kodesh, he explained that the actions will make the mincha kosher, and you be even yotzi dechavase. And they say, no, it should be the opposite. Machshavah, the mincha apostle Rachmana. A machshavah that's recognizable from the actions, that's the opposite of what he thought, of what he wanted, of what he had thought to bring, that should parcel it. Now, Kedava Yamri, they don't, the Rava and Ravashi don't want to answer like Rava. Rava was mechalik between a mincha and another mincha. A mincha, if there was a kmitza l'shem mincha, another mincha. Let's say he had a minchas chayta and he had l'shem minchas nedava. So he says, hey, by a mincha and a mincha, even though he had a mind for the wrong mincha, it's one family. Darke Chassidus, what's the ufta from Darke Chassidus? As Chassidim are an ein mishpacha. So they said the Menochos and an ein mishpacha. It doesn't matter. It's one family. So it doesn't matter. You're going to be yotzer. But by a mincha l'shem zevach, it's not two different families. So he says they argue. They say that they don't dash in zois teres. Kiravashi, but why not? Because it says zois teres achatas. So just like you said, by mincha it's one family, should be by chatas also. We know by chatas not. So therefore they slugged up Rava's way of learning. Ravashi was mechalik between if he says the word minchas macheshes or he says just the keli machvas l'shum macheshes. He spoke about the kelim. Kelim is just divrei hevel. It's worthless. Mana is not the keli is not what affects the carbon. It's kelim. But if he says mincha and he had the wrong thought, it's going to apostle it. Says the Yemada. That doesn't work. We don't like that answer of Ravashi either. Because Ravach had asked, what's if he said Chareva l'shem belula? Chareva means that he made a kmitza with a hard pieces of flour that he was made into like a wafer, and versus the soft one, which is made of macheshes. It's belula b'shemen. Being that he used the word charev and belula and not machvas and macheshes, he was referring to the carbon mincha. So why did Ravashi say in that case? Reb Shimon say it's kosher. It's both mincha. It's both a carbon.
Same thing.
So it's the same thing as saying mincha. So he answered. Ravashi answered. Belula, there's no such a name as a mincha. Mincha's belula. It's belula b'shemen. It's called a mincha, not belula. And that's how Ravashi answered. But they Ravach no, he says no, belula should be a mincha also. So the thing that was pashut, according to Rabba, the actions, if the actions show it's sheker, it makes it kosher. And according to Rabba, that's a pashta zach, that if the actions go against Mashava, it's possible. Those two sides was the Shaila of Rabbi Shai. The Bayi Rabbi Shai. The Abin Rabbi Yimei Rabbi Shai and Rabbi Asi. And others say that the Shaila was Rabbi Shai is from Rabbi Asi. Mincha l'shum zevach. If it was a mincha for the sake of a zebach, Mali Omar Rabbi Shimon. What does Rabbi Shimon hold in this inyan? He's like, do you want to time the Rabbi Shimon? Mishum the machshava the minkra? Should we say because his actions show that it's false what his machshava was, the shalei l'shma, loy pasla, therefore it's going to be kash lechatchila, and he's yetzi lechavasei. V'hamachshava the minkra hu, because you see the machshava shows that it's a false thing what his machshava was. Or should I say, it says all Menochos is what? Oh, 1 second. Aloi pasla, v'hamachshava. But a mincha shenichmetz l'shum zevach is a machshava the minkra. It's a machshava that it shows that it's false, because if he said l'shum a mincha l'shum behema, it's obvious it's not going according to the machshava, and it overrides the loy l'shma. Or perhaps taima the Rabbi Shimon mincha, because he says there's one din for Menochos. Now it's Dalet Amud Aleph, the fourth line from the top. Oiduma taima, or perhaps the reason of the Rabbi Shimon is because Shum Dechsiv Zeis Teis HaMincha, which is mashma, one din for all Menochos, and according to this, we have to pass a mincha that was brought for the sake of a zevach. According to Rava, a mincha that was only by Menochos, it's one mishpacha. But if it's a mincha l'shum zevach, it doesn't say. It only says Zeis Teis HaMincha. But with zevach like Siv, it doesn't say zevach. Amalei, Rabbi Hasi said to Rabbi Hisha, "Klum yiganu l'sev dai t'shor Rabbi Shimon." Meaning, will we ever reach the understanding of what the reasoning of Rabbi Shimon is? Look, we just said before, we can't answer like Rabbi Mishum Nekusha Abaya, because he said, "Hey, how could you be mechalik? How could you say like Rabbi, who says once the actions show the opposite of the machshava, so Rabbi says it should be kosher, but Abaya says no, it should be the reverse, it should be pasul."
Why does Rabbi say it's okay?
Rabbi says because the actions showed that it was a sheker, that whatever his thoughts were, shalei l'shma, was a sheker, so it overrides the lei l'shma. But Abaya asked, no, hey, the normal way is that here he says. The normal way is that, he asked even stronger, since Menachos are compared to Zvachim, right? And just like by Zvachim, it makes no difference whether it was something that's if the Shlei L'Shma was something that had to do with Shini Kodesh, which his actions showed the opposite of what he thought. So the action should be a sheker, right? The action should prove that his Shalei L'Shma was a sheker. By Zvachim doesn't make a difference, even if his actions show that his Shalei L'Shma was a sheker, but Shalei L'Shma passed the carbon behema. And Menochos are compared to Zvachim, so by Menochos should have the same din. We didn't want to answer that he was mechalik between if it says mincha, one mincha l'shum mincha acheres or l'shum min zevach. So he says l'shum mincha acheres. He says it says zeis teis hamincha, but by zevach it doesn't say. So like he doesn't want. We don't want to answer like Rav also not mishum kushir, because of the kasha that we had. It says v'zeis teis chatos. And there by chatos, we should say all chatos are one family, and we don't say. If he brought a l'shem, for one chatos, and he had in mind a different chatos, it's not the same. And we say it's possible. No, we're talking in chatos, and in chatos guf it's not going to be good. It's possible. And Ravashi, we said we're not going to answer like Ravashi. What did Ravashi say? That if you say the word mincha, then it's going to be possible. If you say machas macheshes, then it's not, because that's the kelim. So we said, well, that's not a good answer. Mishum kushel Rav Acha b'nei Rava, like we had before. The kasha of Rav Acha was that if he says chareva mishum blula, which lecheda, that's talking about the kabbanis of mincha. He's talking about the mincha itself, not the kelim. Oh, so he answered only belula shemen, but he felt belula alone is called a mincha, and Reb Shimon was mashir lecheda it should be possible if it's considered as mincha. Rav Ashi says no, that belula is not called mincha. So that's why. That's why Rav Ashi. That's why Reb Shimon was mashir. If he was mincha, if he used the concept of mincha for another mincha, right? Yeah. He said one mincha is chayte l'shum minchas nedava, right? Then if he used the word mincha and he has the wrong mashal, it passes it. If he uses a machmas l'shum macheshes, kelim is not going to pass the carbon. But if he used chareva l'shum belula, so the kasha was l'cheda, that's the mincha. The one mincha is chareva, that you make a kmitz with the hard pieces of a wafer, or belula, you make it on the soft piece. So chapasla, of course, it's considered really. He's not talking about kelim; he's talking about the mincha itself. And Reb Shimon was mashrit. So Rav Ashi answered no, but it wasn't. It's not the mincha itself. A mincha belula is not called belula; it's called belulas vashemen. If you look in the Mishnah, in the pasuk, only then it's called mincha. Okay. So we learned all the Menochos is kasha, but they have to bring another mincha. They wouldn't yet see the chavase. Chutz minchas chayta minchas kanais, that if you made a kmitz shlei l'shma, it's going to be pasal legamri. If it was a minchas chayta and he had in mind for another mincha, minchas chayta is a mincha for sinning. What does it mean sinning? If somebody stole from somebody, right? There was a gzela. And they told me you stole it. He denies. He swears and he denies it. He has to bring it. He has to bring a minchas chayta. If he had in mind when he brought the mincha for that kapara for minchas nedava, it's possible. Minchas kanoyis is no. Oh yeah, it is angry also that it's jealousy. The husband brings a minchas kanoyis. He warned her, "I don't want you alone with that man." And she was caught with that man. Then we give it to drink to mei amarim. And if she live with that man, Z plots. Her stomach plots, and the man that she lived with also plots. Is his stomach? Yeah, not the husband. The man that she committed adultery. Zon ze beide plotsen. Yeah. Okay.
From her drinking plots.
Yeah. Could you think she drinkt? Plotst. No, but they both plot.
She drinks.
During he plots too. Yeah, even more so. There was a story in the Medrash that there was a twin sister, and she was on the way to go to drink, so she switched places with her twin sister, and she went, and nothing happened to her. On the way back, she went and kissed her sister to thank her. When he kissed her, went in and she plots. It's a Medrash. Sagt die Mother, huh? You never heard that story? With the twins, okay. So you want to be shleim minchas chayta. I understand minchas chayta becomes possible agami if it's a shlei l'shma. Because chatas karya achmana. Minchas chayta, it's still called like a carbon chatas. By carbon chatas, we learned befedish that if it's shlei l'shma, it's possible. And psachim. In the beginning of Mesachtes Vachim, the two exceptions were chatas and psachim. If they're shlei l'shma, it becomes possible agami. Minchas chayta is called chatas. Finished. And it says, don't make it beautiful, the Rashi says. Don't put on oil, don't put on spices. It's a chatas. Yeah, don't give him, it's like a chayta v'niske. A zindik, he gets a chance to beautify himself before Hashem. So we don't let him put on all these beautiful stuff. But minchas kenois, we don't find in the Torah that it's called a chatos. How do we know that if he shalei l'shma it's going to be possible? No one. And the Tana Kame, the Rav Nachman, there was a Tana who was a bucky in Mishnayis and Braises Balpeh, and he's saying in front of Rav Nachman, minchas kenois, meiseres nedava. If he bought a minchas kenois was from Bali, so he bought it at when he bought it at a very low, at a very high price. But he was about to pay for it, and then when he came, they said no, the price fell, and he was left over. There was leftover money. when he set it aside, he set aside money because they told him, let's say it's $100 for. Now it's $50. What do you do with the extra $50? He already gave it to the.
He made up to give it to you.
He gave it already to Hegdish. So Hegdish takes the leftover money and uses it whenever the mizbeach is empty. They use that money for that, for nedava. But it's called kitzab amizbeach. Kitzab amizbeach is whenever the mizbeach was empty, they use that money for that. So Rav Nachman said to the Tana Shapakam, he said beautifully, Maskeres Avin Kisibah. It says by Minchas Kenai the word Ovin. It mentions the word Ovin. U bechatas ksiv v'isen nos lahem. Lase says Avin ha'eda. It says also Ovin. So ma chatas meisedes nadav. Just like by a chatas, when the leftover money goes towards the nadav. Minchas Kenai meisedes nadav. So to Minchas Kenai, the leftover money goes for the mizbeah.
Because you call it also Hagdish.
Because of Ovin, because we made a Gzeda Shava. The same word Ovin says by Kenais and by Chatas. And then he says Ka Chatas, just like a Chatas, Ma Chatas Psul Shlei Lishma. Just like a Chatas, if he had Shlei Lishma for a different carbon, it's going to be puzzle. Minchas Kenos Psula, if he had in mind by it was a Mincha for Soita, and then he had in mind for Minchas Nedava. If it's Shalei Lishma, it's going to be puzzle. Psula Shalei Lishma. No, here we're talking about so too Minchas Kanois, which is Minchas Soita.
You said he had a Nedava. It could also be for Minchas Chayta.
Yeah, it could be for anything, but whatever. If it's Shalei Lishma, it's going to be puzzle. It's like the Gemara Elamiyato Ashim Yehi puzzle Shalei Lishma. Ashim should also be puzzle if it was Shalei Lishma. Why the Gama Ava Mechatas? You have the word Avein also by Yasham. Where does it say in the passage? We didn't. It's good. It's kosher. It's just not Yotzidei Chavase. But you continue on with the carbon, and it says there also the word Avein. It says V'lo Yoda v'Hashem and Nasa Avoinoi. It says the Gemara it's Avoinoi. Here we have the exact same words Avein. By Hashem it says Avoinoi, so it's different. So you can't make the Gzer Shava. Done an Avain, that's written by Minchas Kenois, Me'avain, that's written by Chatas. Vavein done in Avain, that's written Avoinoi, which is written by Yasham, Me'avain from the oven that's written by Chatas. Like what by Nafke, who cares? It says Avoinoi, Avoin. I'm going to bring you a raya. I feel as the Vot is on the Shmach Gzer Shava. We make by a Metzeda. It has the words V'Shava Koyin, Uba Koyin. Shava Koyin is the first week, it says, right? That the first week he comes, he shuts him down, and he waits. So if there was right away a tzaras, right? They see a tzaras, they take out the stone with the tzaras, with all the plaster, put in a new stone, and if nothing happens next week, it's fine. But what's if the second week? If the first week was fine, it comes the second week, they check it out again. So what do? It doesn't say Uba. Here it says Uba. So we learn our Ba from the Shav, just like by the first week, if there was a tzaras, you would take it out. So if the tzaras came in the second week, you would take it out. Yeah. So you learn how to Gzeda Shava from two different words, V'Shav Uba. So if you learn now from two different, make a Gzeda Shava, V'Shav Uba, for sure, for an Avoinoi, you can make a Gzeda Shava. Now we'll say it inside. But in the yeshiva of Rabbi, the Braisa was learned. There was in the Beis Medrash they learned the Braisa from the Rabbi Yishmael. In the yeshiva of Rabbi Yishmael, V'Shava Koyin, it says V'Shava Koyin Uba Koyin Zu Yeshiva Hibia. He says the same thing like by the Shiva that you said if you find a tzas you take it out and you wait another week. So too if it happens the second week you take it out and you wait another week. And even more so, Ligma Avinu Avinu May Avain. The Shmiyas Kal, he says, it says the word Avain, I'm saying Avain even by a Chatas. What's the case where it says Avain by a Chatas? That if somebody knows Edis to testify on the side that the person is owed the money, he says, I don't know how the Edis. So it says in Lo Yagid, if he doesn't say Edis, Manas Avainai. And there's a whole vart, I told you, the Lo is Metavav. It's too long of a dasha. I won't be able to finish it. Yeah. It says Avina, the same word. Says the Gemara, you're right. The only thing we learned out from the Gezerah Shava is that whatever extra money was left over that he designated for the carbon, that goes for the Kitz HaMizbeach. For what happened to Mizbeach is that money is, we buy other kabbanis to fill up the Mizbeach at that time.
Why is it okay to learn that kind of thing?
Because the other Gezerah Shava, we know it's possible by only by Chatas, not by Asham. Are you going to ask, why? How could you say, only for that, but for the Shlei Lishma, we're not going to learn out. So he says, no, Galei Achmana, Legabe Chatas. By the Torah, it says specific. We'll use the Frenchy style. Specific. Yeah, so he says over there, that Legabe Chatas, it says, V'shachat Oisa Lechatas. It says, only by a Chatas, if it's Shlei Lishma, it's going to be possible. So the Oisa Lishma Ksheira, Shlei Lishma Psula. The Oisa tells us, oh, it has to be Lishma by a Chatas. And Shlei Lishma is going to be Psula. Avakol Kachim. Since it says Oisa only by Chatas, it says Dafka Chatas needs Lishma, and Shlei Lishma is going to be possible. Other Kachim, Bein Lishma, Ksheira is going to be Kasha either way. So Ella Minchas Chayta, Minchas Kenoyis, the Psul Shlei Lishma Menolan. How do we know Minchas Chayta? Because now we're not learning out Minchas Chayta from Chatas. So how do we know that by a Minchas Chayta and a Minchas Kenoyis that if it's Shlei Lishma that it's going to be possible? Says Gemara Chatas, my time of my. What's the whole reason that it became possible with a Machshava Shlei Lishma? Mishum Chsiba who? Because it says in the pasuk who. Chatasu, yeah, it says Chatasu. And Huda means Kemaishu, like it is. Meaning, if you shachted the carbon Kemaishu for what you brought it for originally, then it's good. If not, it's possible. Haninami, so too by Minchas Chayto, Minchas Kenoyis, it says Haksibahu, it says also the word Hu, Kichatos, or it says Kichatos He. And by Minchas Chayto, it says Ki Minchas Kenoyis Hu. So the who means Kameisha who. But if you change it for something else, then it's not going to be good.
He is not enough.
Who and he is the same.
He, who is that? If you can speak Tapelisha, you'll hear a difference between who and he. He. This is another Zach, don't worry. Zach, fragt mich, war Shanami. Anachi, yeah. The way the mice says, Shmuel Munkis, you know, he saw the Zagivir. The Gevir with the vibe, they used to invite people. Nobody was able to eat. He used to talk, she used to eat, and the guests had to answer all the questions. Then, after she finished eating, he started to eat, and she asked the question. Nobody came out eating. So Shmuel Munkus wanted to get invited. He said, "I'll fix his wagon. I'll take care of business. Just tell me from where is she from? From where is he from?" She's from Minsk and he's from Pinsk. Everything's perfect. He comes in and he starts asking questions. He says, no, from one side, he says, originally, bin ich von Minsk, aber später, I moved over to Pinsk. Oh, von Minsk, ich war Landsmann. Was macht er? Mich gestorben. Hebt am Beine, he starts eating it. Oh, was was Moshe Itchematche? Gestorben. And he's crying, and then the wife sees he can't ask any more questions. So she asks her, was macht Heike gestorben? Sie hebt am Beinen, was macht Leike, all gestorben. So they weren't eating, because they were crying. He ate his plate, their plates, and he did a good job. Name Wasser, the hot Wasser? Fragt die Mara aus dem Namen Yaksibei. Anyway, it says also who. It says Gemara. So you see, by Oshim it says who. If so, by Oshim you should say Shalei Lishma should be possible. It says Gemara who laachaktar says Haimuri Mudichsiv. By Osham, it's written after the carbon was served as a kapara. It's after the zika. Look where it says who. It says by the burning. So you see that it's written already. The kapara was done already. It was the kapara is after the zrika, and the who is written where after the aktara. So therefore, you can learn out Shlei Lishma there, Shloi Lishma, nachdem was man schon gemacht, we went the carbon for the Alts on Leidig. Yeah, everything was taken care of already. They're talking like we learned in the Braisim. It says in the Braisim, Fedish, by Hashem, it's the who is written after the Aktaras Haymurim. So what are you going to have a wrong kavanah by the Aktaras Haymurim? Means nothing, because the kavanah already served its purpose. Oh, we'll soon say. The Gemara is going to ask, who atzmai the Hashem itself shalayu hukturei marav kasha. Even if you're not makted day murav, it's still going to be kasha. But Mashenk in the other one by the Chatas, it says v'shachat in the time of the shchita, or it says the same thing by the Korban Pesach. It says amatem zevach Pesach Hashem by the shchita. So these are the beginning. So they will make a difference. So that's chashayla. If the who is not serving any purpose by Hashem, what do I need the who? By the Hashem, he says, let's say Hashem, you designated a carbon, and the carbon ran away, and then you took another carbon for the Hashem. Then the first one came back. So what do we do with the first one? Usually we let it go till it gets a mum, and then we sell it as a Eilis Nadava. What's if he gave it to the Raya? He gives it to the shepherd, in Hegdish, he says, okay, give it to the Raya. The Raya has to now make sure till it gets a mum, and then with that money, sell it and buy Eilis Nadava. But before it got a mum, he went in and he macht shchita. So we say it's the owner. He went in, even though he gave it to the Raya, and he shachted the behema. So or the Kain did it. So what is it? What kind of a carbon is it? So he says it's a oilad. It's as if he sold it and bought Eilis Nadava, because he already gave it to the Raya. But what's if he never gave it to the Raya? It's still in the status of a Hashem. It's two Hashemim, and he shachs it. So then it's neged of a Hashem. That's what the who tells us. So if you want to, if he gave it already designated for the Raya and he shachs it, kashlu shmeila, then it serves as it's kasha as a oila. Nitak in only if he already designated it, he gave it later to that it should be eating in the field till it gets. He already designated for it to the Raya. Then it has a din like a oila. Loy nitak, but if he didn't designate it for the Raya, he didn't give it to the Raya to pasture it in the field till it gets a mum. Loy, then it won't have a din as a oila. Amakrahu, that it's still who it's the way it is. But hey, it should remain the way it was till now. He didn't do anything to change it from the status of Hashem. It's still on Hashem.
But he got a new Hashem in place.
Right.
So what happens to the old Hashem? It stays in Hashem.
It's not kosher as a oila. He says you can't use it if he shach stam.
So you can use it for an Hashem?
No, it's not. It's worthless. It's two Hashemim he's bringing. It's nothing. Here, at least you got you gained out of it. You brought a Eilis Nadava.
The second Hashem is his Hashem, but then the first Hashem they came back.
Yeah, it's still a Hashem, but it's he says it's still under the title Hashem. Amar Rav said, Minchas ha'ima shekmat shloi l'shma psula. A minchas ha'ima that he made a kmitz shloi l'shma, it's possible. The chlal, what is the minchas ha'ima? Is to be mater the tfuah from the last year, from Tezai Nisan, whatever grew that whole year, second of Pesach, yeah. Huh?
1 year each year.
Yeah. So, but it is matter all the tfuah that had grown the past year. If you want, I can read it from here. For what? He nasis ma'aseinim shal ha'tfuah ha'chadash shegadla b'shana zu that had grown in the past year. But so usually Yashan is with the high said. The Alter Rebbe Tov Tzadik says, we don't. No, he says we're not. It's the Medina Sailor is nicht right. He says it's not. So you want to hayul ubalahata since he's coming to be mata the tuah chadasha, but loy hitira because it was shalei l'shma. He didn't have in mind that it should. He brought the oima officially to be matter, but he didn't have. He had in mind something else. So it didn't do its job. It didn't do its mission. So he says psula. It's possible. sheshachatan shalei l'shmai psulim. He says, Asham Nazir, if he went ahead and he was touched the tummy mace in the middle of the Nazirus, then he has to bring a Asham to be mad to him to start counting over from the beginning. What's if he had a mind for something else when he brought that Asham? So it's puzzle. You can't use it as anything. And the same thing as a Mitzvah. He finished his Tzaras, and one of the Kabbanas he brings is a Asham. And if he had a mind and he had a mind something else, psulin, he can never bring it again. Since he came to be mashim, like the Omer came to be mata the last year's Tfuah, or the Asham by another came to be mata to start all over again to count, or the Asham Mitzvah that he should be finished with the Tzaras, it didn't accomplish nothing, so it's possible. Now we learned in the Mishnah Menochos, all Menochos that they did a kmitza shalei l'shma, it's kosher. You can continue the Aveda till the end.
That's what we learned in the Mishnah. No?
Yes, and only you have to bring another mincha for the chayv. You weren't Yitzidei Chavas because it was shalei l'shma. Chutz mi minchas chayta or minchas kenois. Except for minchas chayta, if you had a mind for a different carbon, it's possible gamri. Or minchas kenois, that's the minchas chayta, it's possible. The Im Isa says, now that you said minchas oimer is also possible. Listening nami chutz minchas oimer. Why'd you say only the two exceptions that become possible? That become possible minchas chayta, minchas kenois. You should have added minchas oimer because we just said minchas oimer should also be possible. Says Gemara Kikatani Haba Yachid, but a mincha that's ba Yitziv like Katani. Only which ones are we talking about? The minchas chaytas for privata for that mensch was a gizindik. Or minchas kanais is only the Baal who was jealous. He brings the mincha, but the oima is for the tzibur. So that's why he doesn't exclude that one. He doesn't learn as one of those that one in together with the other exclusions. Because it's a different category.
So what's the din? It is excludable.
It is excludable, but it's not amongst the ones that we were excluding. It wasn't that same category. Only which category were we excluding? Those that was for private. No, 1 second. That was before. Now, another answer. But which mincha do we talk about? Only a carbon that's brought on its own. But if it's brought with a carbon, like Katani, he doesn't learn. And this one is brought with the Oim is brought with the Minchas Oim is brought with a keves for Ayla. Ki Katani, another difference is Hana Shein Kavu Lahem Zman. The Minchas Chayta can happen anytime. Minchas Kenois, the Minchas Chayta, he can be jealous at any time of the year, and then there's no set time that he has to become jealous of his wife and tell her you're not allowed to be alone. He doesn't have to wait till Purim. If it happens now, it's done now. Okay? It's like there was a person in the shul, he was angry at his son, and he did nothing. And then 5 days later, he was walking the street, and he gave him a patch. He said, why are you smacking me now? You remember a week ago, you were sure you did this and this. So I didn't want to do it out of anger. Obviously so. So here, about Tavach, for Minchas Kanois. No, Minchas Kanois can happen anytime. But Masha Enkin over here, when you're talking about the Mincha of the Oimes, Dafket Zayin Medis, the second day of Pesach. Hanach Shein Kavul Lahem Zman, Had the Kavul Lahem Zman, wait a time. So if you want Amar, V'chein Atoime B'Hasham Noze V'Hasham Etzeri Sheshachot and Shalei L'Shma. So we said so too, Hasham Noze, Hasham Etzera, these carbonis, if it was done Shalei L'Shma, Psulin, since they come on a mission to be mashid and nazir, to be able to count all over again when he was a tamei meis in the middle of the naziris, or by mitzvah to make him muta to wine and everything, to eat kosher. If it's shleid shma, we say it's possible because it didn't fulfill his mission. In fact, we learned in the Mishnah kol azvachim sheshachat and shleid shma ksheinu el shleid ala b'ayim l'ashem chayva. All zvachim, all kabbanis. If he was shachted shleid shma, it's kosher. You continue the Aveda Bizlanda. Only, but for outside his chayiv, he has to bring another carbon. Because this one was Shalei L'Shma. Chutz me Pesach Hatois. In the beginning of his Vachim, it says 2 karbanis. If it's Shalei L'Shma, it's possible. You can't continue the Aveda. If if like we said, Asham Etzera and Asham Nozir, if it's Shalei Lishma, it's possible. Listening, Nami Chutz Masham Nozir Asham Etzera. The Bola Hashvela Yishiru. We just said that any carbon that's coming on a mission to be Machsher, and it's not Machsher, because he was Shalei Lishma, it's possible. And you can't continue the Avodah. So why did you only exclude from the Kol HaZvachim that are kosher only Chatas and Psachim? You should have excluded Asham Etzera and Asham Nazir. And the Gemara keep the Asham Etzera Asham Eilis, L'Chapara also Leipsikah. He says, since there's the concept of Asham Gzelis. Asham Gzelis is somebody who stole from another person. And the guy says, give me back my money. And he swears, I never took it, I never had it. Then we find out he did, he has to bring Asham Gzelis. And the same thing Meilis, if he had a Noah B'Shoigeg from Hekdesh, so he has to bring Asham Meilis. And over there, you continue L'Chapara Asu. There it comes as a Kapara. And over there, the halacha is that it's kosher. So you couldn't say, I'm excluding Ashamim. You couldn't, as a whole, if I Asham or Shlei Lishma, because some Ashamim, if it's Shlei Lishma, is good. In fact, you want to Mashna Asham Nazar Asham Etzera, the Bola Hashvela Yishiru, that you said by Asham Etzera Asham Nazar, since it's on a mission to be Machshehim, to recount. There you say if he had a Shalei Lishma, it's going to be possible. Haninami Bola Chapara, the Asham Gzelos, Asham Eilis is coming to be Mechapa on his Avera. And V'loi Kipru, because it was Shalei Lishma, so say it should be possible. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Matzinu, we find Shechilei HaKos Bei Mechapin or Bei Machshehim, that we find in the Torah that the Torah Alein is mechalik between kapara or between something that's machsha a person to be able to go weiter. Mechaprin is the asu lachamisa. For kapara, it says that there are some that kaparas that come after the person if he dies, and he didn't bring the kapara the kekarbon, they can bring it after his misa. Machshirin less behudasu, but machshirin after he dies, it can never be brought. If he dies, there's no way of bringing the carbon again. Machshirin means that, like we say by Asham Etzera, Asham Nazir. So if the Nazir dies, he brings the carbon to be able to start counting, and he dies before, you don't bring it. Where do we see this din that machshirin you don't bring, but mechapim we do? The Tanan, Ha'isha, by Isha that's a Yeledes. So she has to bring two karbanis, one a chatas and one a oila. And wait, Shevi a chatas, she brings her chatas, Umeisa, and then she died before bringing the oila. Says the Gemara, Yavir Yoshna Seilasa. They bring her oila after she died. Oilasa, but if she brought her oila, Umeisa, and she died before bringing her chatas, Lo Yavir Yoshna's chatasa. The Yoshn do not bring her chatas. Why? Because the oila is the part that's mechaper. Really, she didn't sin. What she did, she gave birth, and because of a neida, she might have made. So there's no real sin. So the oila is mechaper, and the chatas is machsher. So we say the oila yamakiv, the kapara one officially after she dies. Even though she died before bringing the oila, you bring it after. But the chatas, which was machsher her to eat kachim, that you can't bring. It's done. You can't bring it. So you see, the machsher is more chomor. So since the machsher is more chomor, so if it was shaloi lishma, we're going to passel it by anything that has to do with machsher. Machsher Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi machshirin mileis behuda asul achamisa. You're saying that a case of machshirin is never brought after misa. I'll bring you a raya. It is. But now we learned in the Mishnah Meila. It says hamafnish moislin nazirusei. Somebody who designates money for nazirus. And by nazirus there are three kabbanas that he brings, and so he brings three kabbanas: a kavs la'ila, a kivsa lachatas, and an ayil for a shlamim. And he put away money. It says he cannot have enough of the money of l'chatchila. But if he had he wasn't even on the Isa Mailin. Why? Mipnei sheruyin lavi kula shlamim. He can use all the money for shlamim, and then bring the other kabbanis for new money. And shlamim, there's no me'ilah. Why? Shlamim goes to the balabatim, and the me'ilah kicks in after you, the balabatim get the chelik, and the emurim have to go on the mizveichel. The emurim become Esther, then the din of me'ilah happens. But prior to being makabah shlamim, it's not called. There's no din of me'ilah because it goes to the balabatim. Mace, if the nazir died, well, how you like Mayistumim? He had money that he didn't specifically say this is for the chatos and this is for the shlamim and this is for the. He didn't say that. Yiplul in the dava. It says it goes as a nitva as tzibor. Mifaydoshim, but if he was specified, it says this money is the meyachatos. So what do you do with the meyachatos if he died before? He has to bring a dafka to the Yamamelch according to the Rambam. Because he shouldn't be able to take the money back. In the Yamamal, the money that's yeah. Huh? Still floating. No, it gets ruined. You cannot have enough from it. But if he had enough, he's not over on Me'ilah. Okay? Because it's destroyed. It doesn't go to Hashem. It's meant to be destroyed. The word money for the oil, then you do bring for the oil, and if someone who has enough that money, he's able to do the me'ilah. The money of the shlamim that he separated for it, he brings a shlamim and a chalim l'yem echad. It's eaten for one day. There's exes akasim. By a nazir's money, it's only for one day. There's no. You don't bring the lechem if he died because lechem has to go on the hands of the nazir. But if the nazir's not there's no hands to put it on. So here you have the oila and the shlamim of the nazir. The machshirim ninu, they're there to be machshim, to be able to eat kachim and to drink wine. Because and you see the oila shlamim is brought after misa. Even the dava machshirim, and you said something that's machshir does not come after misa. We don't find that there's a designated one of these kabbanis are going to be machshim. Anyone it will be. The Bala Chamisa, or the Nazir, Hashem, and Shein Kavua. He says, Lemetzin Hashem Kavua, the Bala Chamisa. You don't find Hashem Kavua, but that comes after the Misa. Hashem Kavua means that you have one carbon that is Masha, that doesn't come after Misa. Or the Nazir, Hashem, Shein Kavua. By a Nazir, any one of these kabbanis, if you brought the Eila or the Shlamim, it will already be Mashim. So therefore, since you don't have kavod, gilach al achs mishlashtam, if they shave the nazir's head on one of these three kabbalas, stop.